All right, all right. We'll let a couple people join on in here. Whoa, there's very bright. Let me lower this just a tad for everybody so we could see here. Unfortunately, Milan go down to PSG 3-0. Just a terrible, terrible defeat in the group stage. Milan go bottom of the group now. With the order of it being PSG, I have it here actually. It seemed like Dortmund came away with their victory against Newcastle, which was a big one. So the group of death being the group of death, like we all expected it to be relatively close. PSG on 7 points, actually. Excuse me, because they did lose. So PSG with 6, Newcastle 4, Dortmund 4, Milan 2. Got a bunch of you guys in here so far. Good players, bad coach. I think it was a bad everybody today. Bad timing. Still, hey Sabrina, yeah, absolutely rough run. Felt like the Inter game really didn't feel like Milan had a chance after I heard the Noah Okafor news. Really wasn't that positive heading into this. I'm not sure about you guys. We sort of previewed it with Tom Scholes. Everything that I felt positive wise had to do with Okafor being an option for Milan. But these injuries are too drastic at this point. You have no game changers coming off the bench for Milan. You're basically looking at Christian Pulisic to carry the load the majority of this month or so stretch with Chukwueze out. Luka Jovic gets injured during the warm-ups. How is this possible? How is it possible that a player that has not even come close to being fit for the club, had a poor performance ever since, or every single time that he steps onto the pitch, it's a poor performance. He injures himself during warm-ups today, so Milan virtually have no option. Pioli already said that Okafor was going to be ready for the Napoli game this weekend, but the sheer fact that we have to sit here and say that the only other option besides a 36, 37-year-old player is a player that gets injured during warm-ups when he's barely even playing. How is it consistently an issue for this club that we have to sit here every single year and look at some sort of injury crisis? The backup goalkeeper goes missing for 2 months now due to injury. I understand certain players have injury history, but my goodness, how many times does this have to happen? This has to do with the training. It has to do with the strength and conditioning coaches. It has to do with the manager. It has to do with the workload. There's so many different reasons as to why this stuff keeps happening to Milan and Milan only. There's only one team that consistently sits at the top of the league in terms of injuries every single year, and it's our red and black. Okay? I'm tired of it. I really am. There's no excuse for it. Something has to change in that regard. But we can go back to the overall problem with this team in that we are 3 matches through in the Champions League group stage, and Milan have yet to score a goal. This is a record amount of time that Milan have been held scoreless within the Champions League. Hell, go back to the 2 matches against Inter. We're talking about 5 consecutive Champions League matches in which Milan have failed to score a goal, dating back to the first leg of the semifinal last year. Let that sink in, everybody. Let that sink in. 5 straight matches in the Champions League, the second greatest club in this competition's history, have yet to score a goal over that time span. Disgusted. Disgusted. Omari's not happy. Give me a second, guys. Like and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. There's 31 of you in here. We usually don't have as much after a loss. Today, obviously, a devastating one in terms of just morale. The amount of times we've been destroyed is a problem. When we lose bad. Like the 2 times against Inter and PSG, 8 goals conceded, 1 scored. So yeah, keep on telling me your guys' man in the match if you even have one. Straight matches in the Champions League. Really just a frustrating type of day as a fan. Our offense is blunt. That might have been the problem. No, guys. When was the last time we beat a big team? Depends what you classify as a big team, Sebastian. Um, if you're not going to go by the Roma, the Lazios of the world, it'd be Napoli at that point. And even then, big club, not big club. I want to talk about Chow today, everybody. So Chow struggles. We see him get a red card against Juventus over the weekend. It basically cost Milan that entire match where they had to play down a man for 50 plus minutes, really put them in a rough situation. He was next man up and tip to start, and this one against PSG gets a yellow card within the first 5 minutes. Pioli had no choice but to make the substitute where Davide Calabria comes on for Milan. And with him coming on for Milan, you have to basically sit there and say to yourself, well, we have to slot in Kalulu to center back, who has barely been playing this season. So now he has to go up against a very potent PSG attack in which we see Gonçalo Ramos coming off the bench, a better goal scorer than anyone that Milan can offer. Colomboani, obviously a fantastic striker and a young talent there. Dembele getting his goal. Just the counter-attacking play by Milan where it looks like they might get something off of a corner. It leads to other opportunities for PSG, and deservedly so. They beat us down. Really frustrating. It felt like Musa was running alone in the midfield, so I guess anyone is. It's on him. Pioli out. Leao has to change his hat. I think it's the whole entire team. There's not a non-existent midfield in these matches. I prefer being four than going to Europa League, but I 100% agree. We got to make top four in Serie A. Injury issue for the team is more worrying than tonight defeat itself. I don't understand how it's possible. I don't either, Diego. I do not understand it either. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do when it comes to this sort of stuff. Emery and Vitinha had a field day. We had no press in the midfield at all. No, we did not. Just a really frustrating type of match once again for Milan. I have to grab my laptop, guys. I apologize. I'm just trying to also tweet out the links to this channel. Again, if you guys have not subscribed and you're new here, please subscribe. Definitely come in, comment, give us your thoughts. We're near 40 people live right now. And so, yeah, Mbappe is the main storyline today, I think, when it comes to players making an impact. That goal that he scored was spectacular. Getting him one-on-one in that space is a nightmare for any defender in world football, and for Tomori to be stuck in that situation where Reinders kind of allowed that to happen. Just really difficult to kind of handle that if you're Milan, because you're basically just allowing the best player in the world to be unguarded in that situation, I guess you could say, or just left in a spot where Tomori is dead, basically. I mean, Magnan can go play his near post, he can go play his far post, but the fact is this: when Mbappe is allowed that much space inside the box, chances are you're dead. It's just the reality of the situation, especially when you go up against sides like this where they have a player that can flip a match on its head within an instant. Is you can't allow him to have that instant of success. You have to be smothering him, just like they tried to do with Cavara during the Champions League quarterfinals. And now Milan faced themselves with a very, very tall task, not having won a single match in the first 3 match days of this year's Champions League. And what they're going to have to do is pull a rabbit out of their hat. And that rabbit is going to have to be qualification for the knockout stages. To the constant high press style, I mean, it's just training. Players complain about just the overall turf at Milanello and how it's not up to par. Let's see this. How did Pulisic play? I mean, everybody was just a non-existent poor player today. If I'm being quite honest with you, I'm not here to single out a single player. Pulisic, I thought he wasted his opportunity that he had. He tried laying it off to Olivier Giroud, where he had a clear chance on goal. I think that was a mistake on his end. Unfortunately for Milan, it ended up just seeing a post hit from Leao as well. Just he wasn't himself in this game. This is just a really problematic situation for Milan when you're talking about how difficult it is in terms of, getting to that next level, beating sides like this when you don't have your best players. Like, on top of the injuries, like I mentioned, we don't have anybody to come in. Um, it just really difficult. Milan lose to PSG 3-0, 3-0, and go into last place of Group F live. Well, I mean, really difficult situation here for Milan now. Loftus-Cheek is a big miss. We'll see if he's able to play against Napoli this weekend. Probably not a strong possibility for him. That's obviously a huge fixture coming up for the club. We know how it's kind of been sluggish with the match against Juve, having the red card for that. Malik Chow obviously suspended. They're going to have Mike Magnan back. Teo Hernandez is back after his yellow card accumulation. We'll see how it's going to be for the club to handle these absences up front, because I simply don't understand how they're going to be coming out of this looking okay. I really find this to be a crisis. I don't think it's anything short of that. You can kind of limp through the finish line. The first 9 matches of Serie A have been great. Barring the situation with Juve, it's really just one really poor loss with your 11 throughout an entire match. The others where you're conceding a silly goal to Roma when you're down a man in that one for a very extended period of time with Tomori there. This is just rough. Jose, I don't agree with this. I don't think Milan have the depth to do this defensively. I don't think that's an option for them. I get where you're coming from tactically with an 11, but the amount of matches they have to play, I don't think it's feasible. That's just my opinion, though. You guys are obviously all free to disagree. A lot of Pioli out coming in the comments section today. I don't see this happening. They don't have a viable replacement that we're going to see just get scooped up. Antonio Conte, I don't even think he would be a fit. And I'm not really kind of in this space to be happy, because I can't look at positives, guys. I got to be honest with you. I think this was just a pathetic defeat all around. Milan shouldn't really be happy about this. I know nobody's happy about this. I don't see how Pioli gets replaced. It's a quick turnaround to Napoli. Napoli got their good win over Union Berlin. Listen, it's a good win in the sense of that, you know, that they got the victory, Napoli. But to sit there and face a team that has lost so many consecutive matches, it's hard to kind of take away a little too much from that. But that's also a fixture that Napoli usually drop points in. So the fact that they do with no Osimhen, who's not even going to be there this weekend as well, big blow. Sorry, a lot of baseball news. All right. What else we got? Napoli, yeah, they didn't play great, but results wise, I think morale could be on their side. Do you think they'll ever try difficult? I mean, they did. Like the tactic is just that there's not good enough players with this. I don't see. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying with this, but I don't know. I'm of the belief it's just you need to get healthy in these situations. Um, this is just deflating in that sense. Honestly. We haven't scored a goal. Yeah, I know. I know, Demo. I was saying that we haven't scored in 5 straight Champions League matches dating back to last season against Inter. Well, obviously, like those are the matches we were not scoring, and we scored against Napoli in Naples. This is just silly. I'm sorry. I'm very upset because I really don't want this baseball player being traded to said team. So I'm trying to juggle right now. So I apologize if I'm really poor at responding. We can't handle big games. Every non-big Italian team beat us. Chelsea beat us. I mean, I don't know why you're calling Spurs big, Andy, when we can't call Roma and Lazio big and Napoli big, but Spurs are big. I wouldn't say that. Um, Absolutely clumsy, terrible play from the team right now. Um, I this is just it's just not good enough. And we also have a lot of players right now because of this injury crisis playing in that midfield a ton. Tijani Reinders picking up so many minutes over the course of these matches too. It's just way too much. It's just way too much. Um, no, I listen. If Benacer and Ruben Loftus-Cheek are in the midfield with Reinders, it's different. I'm sorry, it's different. Or just even options to bring off the bench because we have to play these guys. You have to play Pulisic against Juventus. You have to play him this week. You can't start. Where do you play Luca Romero? Where does Luca Romero get good minutes that this makes sense? Seriously. And I'm not even like trying to like disagree with anyone, but this is the reality of the situation that Milan are forced to now play these players every single match because they can't trust the players behind them. They can't trust the players that basically can't stay healthy at this point. Where is that level of trust coming in? Am I getting a bit blurry here? I don't know how I consistently come out of focus. I read the comment, but you're talking about big clubs, and then you mentioned Spurs, though. Um, it just I don't understand with that. Like they play who they play just because they knocked out a team like Napoli in the quarterfinals. Like they finished ahead of their squads. I mean, they're playing well against these teams they can't finish. They played well the first two matches in the Champions League in this group stage. It's about a lack of finishing. This game they simply got outplayed in. Like straight up. Like there's no argument for that. But when they go and get the double against Juventus last year, like who else are they supposed to play that's a big club when their draw is their draw? Like I don't understand who they're supposed to beat in this instance. That's on the table that you're saying, oh, they couldn't beat Chelsea. Well, they still finished second in the group that Chelsea were in. Chelsea couldn't even beat Dinamo Zagreb at their place. Milan did that. There was other instances like Chelsea were in the same competition, also didn't get to the semifinal. Like there's so many different instances. Milan got to the Champions League semifinal. Did they benefit from the draw? Yeah, maybe yes, maybe no, but everybody's in the same competition. Like in that sense. Half of Milan's team was injured versus Chelsea. Yeah, I mean, again, that's not even here nor there with that. It's really just about Milan needed a striker. We all know they needed a striker. We all know they need depth there. They don't have depth. The guy that they're supposed to bring on is injured. Noah Okafor also missing matches. Chukwueze also missing matches. So where's that depth that we all of a sudden had that these players are missing? Um, I mean, the common factor the last season and this season is injuries, just like every other season. It's not good enough. Um, I don't think Reinders is that bad. I think he's just incredibly exhausted. I don't think he's been put in good situations here. Um, yeah, I'm not really sure. Injuries are not an excuse, though. Pioli's not a great manager. I've said this, but like, who do you guys want? Seriously, who do you want that's feasible at this point? That Milan can go and get that this ownership is willing to pay. You guys come up with a name that's realistic, and I'm not even trying to have a go at any of you. It's just the reality of this. There are no coaching options right now. Milan were undefeated outside of that game with their incredibly healthy 11. Outside of the one game that they lost where they had everybody. Conte is not an option, JC. Come on, man. Conte is not an option. Conte is just simply not possible. Like I said they got slapped, Andy. I said they were awful today. I don't know what we have 50 something people in here, and you're trying to say I'm getting defensive for Milan. I'm just telling you the situations in which it's fair to judge them and when it's not. What I'm saying is that they did have injury issues, but they also got slapped today. I literally said they played well in the first two matches and they were awful today. I said we were awful against Juventus. I said we were awful against Inter. That's not defensive. That's being fair. I'm saying they were awful. I don't understand that. And Conte is not feasible for fiscal reasons. He's already denied Napoli and said he doesn't want to manage again this season. He's notorious for complaining all the time about investments. He's not going to come to a club that simply doesn't invest a lot of money when it comes to high wages and players that he wants. He wants proven players. He doesn't like young players. Part of the reason why he didn't want Sandro Tonali in the first place with Inter. The personnel that he has, Milan don't play with wing backs at this point. Like, who's going to play a right wing back? You got rid of the one guy in Alexis Salamakers. Andy, De Zerbi is not an option either. De Zerbi is not an option. Do I want him eventually? Like, if you're saying like Milan could have anybody, and it's perfectly realistic, that's one manager that would be towards the top of the list. But let's be honest here, Andy. Is he going to be available for Milan after what he's doing with Brighton in the Premier League and what they can pay him, and then what Milan are able to pay on top of that release clause that he has? It's just not feasible, man. I want De Zerbi. I think he'll probably manage the club one day if he's on this current trajectory. But it's the reality of it. It's not somebody that I think is going to be coming here that they can go and hire. I don't. And it's not. And I'm not saying like I wouldn't want him. I don't like this, but like, yeah. But that JC, that doesn't make any sense. Yes, Diego. Conte wants insane amounts of money. Anthony, there is no one immediately. The Pirlo's already managing at Sampdoria. I mean, we've demolished a good amount of teams. I mean, we destroyed Torino, beat Bologna relatively easily. Like, we took care of Lazio, we took care of Roma. I mean, I think it's a little bit dramatic. This team, I have them third in Serie A this season, but I'm not saying they're going to win the title. What I'm saying is they need to get healthy and they need these players for these key matches because they're not good enough to win with these lack of absences. And I think that's more than fair. I did Vincenzo Italiano. Good luck getting him from Rocco Camiso. That's not happening mid-season. So, like, if people want him sacked now, no. Inzaghi is obviously a better manager. Inzaghi has proved it. I mean, listen, Pioli winning the Scudetto, amazing. Inzaghi had to take over a really difficult situation. But head-to-head, they beat us more times than not. They finished ahead of us in almost every single season for over half a decade outside of the year we won the title. These are realistic issues for Milan. And I'm not surprised by this. This project, with the way that they're going to approach it and the way they viewed this situation, was not going to be a one-year fix. That's just not the approach that they're taking and what is going to happen. Should they be better than they were tonight? Absolutely. And absences were a reason for defeat tonight. I'm sorry. That's a really. I get what you're saying, but guys, it's a huge drop off with Krunic and Musa compared to what we can get with RLC and Benacer. Simple. And it's been a big issue. And we're talking about a guy coming off an injury in Krunic. Well, Andy, it matters because they have to qualify for the Champions League. So to do that, you have to beat those teams. I'm sorry. How do you expect them to get back in? They have to get back into the top four again to get back in the competition. All those results matter. I'm not saying they weigh more heavily than the Champions League. Obviously, the Champions League is the ultimate goal. Yeah, I mean, listen, this is a frustrating situation. So yeah, Newcastle is a big loss. You're correct. I agree with this 100%, Andy. I don't see about that. Feel bad for Reinders. He's Krunic is never going at this rate. We're happy that Pioli, Benacer is back in training. I'm thinking of Pioli. If you guys haven't already, please like up the video. We're only 18 likes here. Gonna be heading out soon. There isn't much left to discuss with this. Milan lose 3-0 to PSG. Go to the bottom of Group F. But I'm not saying, Andy. I'm talking about qualification for next season because the money brought in by qualifying for the Champions League is huge, and that's the whole point. It's not that this is what I want. I want to win every trophy every single year in every competition Milan plays in. I want the Supercoppa. I want Coppa Italia. I want the Scudetto. I want the Champions League. I want the FIFA Club World Cup. I want the UEFA Super Cup. Like I want all of these competitions won every single time. But what I'm telling you is that they have to make the top four financially for this project to progress, and it's done by beating teams like that. And so I care about every match. I want Milan to win every single match. I get mad when they lose every single time. I get happy when they win every single time. So, yeah, I mean, listen, this is where we're at. The Audi Cup too, yes, absolutely. But I think I'm gonna head out here in a second. Those are just really 30 minutes. It's not much left to discuss. I really appreciate everyone coming out here. Andy, JC, even if you have differing opinions, no worries at all. I understand we're all coming from the same place and we want to see the team succeed. It's even more frustrating because these exact problems, not even just last year, JC, these problems are consistent every single year. And this is why I was off on this team in terms of winning the title, because it's kind of like, oh, you need Malik Chow, a 21-year-old, to step up and be the best defender or the second best defender within a squad that wants to compete for all these titles, but he's just 21 and never have played a full flight season as a starter in a top league. No, Andy. I mean, JC is just ridiculous. We're off to a great start in Serie A. We're off to a great start. We just have to get healthy. I mean, Pioli has had mediocre tactics for quite a long time. I haven't been the biggest fan. Yeah, but Andy, Lazio were like far better. I mean, sorry, not Andy. See, I keep saying Andy. I apologize. I mean, if he gets no trophies and no top four, Andy, then he's gone. Definitely. But top four is just a different league this year. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Like if everybody was on the same pace as last year, then yeah. And yeah, definitely. I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. All right. Well, there isn't much left to say here. I appreciate every single person that comes in and supports the channel and does your best. We're at 28 likes. Can't really think of too many other things to discuss. Again, me and Matt do this every single week. I don't think we're recording tonight. Might record sometime soonish. And so again, it's either going to be tonight or tomorrow when we do a recording for the Napoli podcast. We're going to try and get Daniel Russo on. Again, appreciate every single one of you. Andy, JC, Anthony, Fitcom Media, Sufyan, Sabrina, I saw you. Demo, I saw you. Orazio coming back in, who used to join all the time. Jovan Perinzi, Cav is in here. Wanted Carlo Ancelotti back. He's off to Brazil, guys. Shashir, Marvin, Free Mind. I don't know if it's CGX, Onesie. I can't really think of too many other people that tuned in. But thank you guys all so much for the support. I think you guys are great. Diego, thank you. You guys enjoy your night. Try not to be too down on the loss. Milan are still alive in this group. Must wins coming up. Look out for the preview against Napoli. Other than that, thank you guys so much, and talk next time.